Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's Sunday now. Bitcoin is actually pumping pretty nicely today, so we're going to take a look at that. But first, before we get into all that, we also have to talk about Marathon. Are they possibly selling Bitcoin HODL? And is this something that's going to be a continuation, possibly going into 2023? So if it's true, is this good or bad news? We'll take a look at it. We also have Silvergate Bank. Is there an effect on the miners? We'll look at it as well. And then we'll take a look at, before all those, we'll take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's pumping really hard right now. So as always, you guys know the drill here. I'm invested in following coins and companies, and this is not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research, please. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. Okay, so let's get into Bitcoin, see what's going on there. So Bitcoin is up quite nicely. It is up on the 1 hour chart. It is up above 17,000. So it's at 17,145 right now. We are up. What are we up here on the last hour a little bit? If we do the chart, we're up about 1% or so, it looks like. So that's good there right now. And RSI has peaked a little bit here over 80, so we're looking a little oversold. But let's take a look at the daily chart first. And we can see here that we just recently, within the last 10 minutes or so, switched over to the new day. We were up on Sunday. Basically, we're up, what was it, up 1.08%. And we had that rally in the last hour or so. And let me see, we closed at 17,125. We hit a high of 17,167. So that's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the 4 hour chart as well. You can see here that the last 4 hours have been really good here. On Bitcoin, our size a little bit high there, about 71 right now. We haven't been at that territory for a while here. It's been a while. And at that point, price was higher. So we are looking to possibly go up a little bit further, I would think, before we have a little bit of a pullback. And at that point, we may continue going up, but we'll see. We also have the CPI data coming out this week. That's going to be telling you also if it's below 7%. Some are speculating Bitcoin could go to 19,000. We'll see if that actually happens. Take a look at Ethereum here really quick as well. Ethereum was up today as well. It was up 2.06%, and it closed at 1,289. It hit a high of 1,295, so not too far from that. RSI is still looking better than it is on Bitcoin on the daily, and the 4 hour chart is a little bit better also at 68 here. And we've been seeing these kind of steps here. RSI has been falling, price goes up, RSI is falling, price goes up. So we'll see if that continues. Are we seeing the same thing on Bitcoin here? Not as much so, but we did see it here. Price fell, RSI also fell, and over here we were kind of trading flat. So we are seeing more of a bullish sign here in Ethereum. On 1 hour chart, you can see here that we are now about the same point we were back here, and price is higher, so that's looking good still on Ethereum. Okay, so we'll see how this week ends up. We'll take a look at the CPI data when it does come out, and let's take a look at the network hash rate as well while we're at it. So this is the 7-day average. It is up to 270 million. Let's take a look at the 1 day average. And we've actually come down here a little bit to 260 from a spike of 305 million. So I would assume if Bitcoin price goes up, the miners will plug more miners in, and hash rate's going to go back up to the new all-time high, which the previous all-time high was 316 million. Okay. Now let's take a look at the Silvergate story really quick. So there's a couple of businesses that are associated with Silvergate that are pretty well known, especially in the crypto space. So MicroStrategy is one, Marathon Digital also is another one. And both companies were sizable borrowers from the lender, though Marathon late last year moved to pay down some of that debt. I think that was in December. But taking a look at it here, so the San Diego-based crypto bank was a lender to both MicroStrategy and Marathon. Last March, entrepreneur Michael Saylor's software company said its subsidiary received 205 million Bitcoin-backed term loan from Silvergate. The loan had about 6.2% annual interest rate as of September 30th and is due on March 25th, according to recent investor presentation. So there is some exposure there to MicroStrategy, but MicroStrategy is just a hodler of Bitcoin, so not a big deal there. Marathon was a little bit more concerning, but it looks like they paid off some of that debt. So meanwhile, Marathon, which had borrowed roughly 100 million from Silvergate via a term loan and a revolving line of credit, said on Thursday it had paid off another 30 million of that revolver in December, wiping out the balance. The amount still outstanding under the term loan wasn't disclosed. The move freed up 3,615 Bitcoins that had been pledged as collateral. So maybe that was a move to get it off Silvergate potentially, as they were used up as collateral. Outside of the lending activity, Silvergate also has high-flying crypto firms as corporate banking customers through its Silvergate Exchange Network leverage program, which issues US dollar loans using Bitcoin as collateral. the now defunct FTX stable coin issuers, FTX, stablecoin issuer Circle, and crypto trading platform Coinbase, Paxos, and Crypto.com, and Kraken were all SEN clients, according to recent investor presentation. So there might be some, I don't know if there's going to be trouble, but I think, well, investors possibly pulled out of those stocks potentially because of the fear of Silvergate going under. Going down here, the bank also said on Thursday that it experienced an outflow of $8.1 million in digital assets deposits during the fourth quarter amid FTX demise. To counter the outflow, Silvergate sold $5.2 billion of debt securities, incurring a loss of $718 million, which is pretty big. And I checked through a couple of the miners that we report on here regularly in their quarterly filings or 10K filings to see if they report what bank they're using. Most don't report it. They just report that they're using, large institutional bank. So it could be any of the couple major large banks in the United States, right? So that is it. So hopefully this does not become a contagion for the miners. I think that's the last thing that they actually need to happen on this. And then let me know what you guys think of this. Is this, non-story basically towards the miners? I think it is. But if you guys have any other insight, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Okay, and then we're going to talk about Marathon possibly selling Bitcoin. So I got Bitcoin Micro Pig. If you don't follow him on Twitter. But he's been following Marathon, and they're mining through Mara Pool. And this is what he had to say. So it looks like Mara made their first BTC sale of the cycle yesterday. I have been predicting this for several months since this interview with IR, I guess it's in Investor Relations, Charlie Schumacher, where he states 50% sales of BTC are optimal 48 minutes in. So let's take a look at that really quick. We're going to just play a little bit of a soundbite from it. And if you guys don't listen to or watch the videos from Compass Mining, a lot of the videos are actually pretty good and they provide a lot of information as well. So let's take a quick listen in. This is going to be only about 30 seconds or so. Let's take a listen.
Well, we also ran an analysis. Fred gave this at a presentation maybe back in August, but where we kind of looked back a little bit and we said, let's take three scenarios. Let's run a scenario where a miner sells 100% of their Bitcoin, a miner holds 100% of their Bitcoin, and then a miner sells 50%, converts to cash, right? So half cash, like half BTC. And shockingly, holding all of your Bitcoin was the worst strategy.
Really?
The worst return from doing that. If you sold all of it, that was the second best strategy. The best strategy involves some sort of a mix of holding some and selling some. We just picked 50% arbitrarily. I don't think that's like the ideal number, right?
So there you have it. So it looks like Fred Thiel ran some numbers for some back data, I guess, and they came up with that the best option is to actually sell a portion, whether it's 50%, 60%, 70%, whatever it is. That is the optimal thing to do potentially. I don't know if they did it in the bear market or bull market, but you have Fred Thiel also stating the same thing, and I guess it had an internal presentation on it. I've been saying the same thing for over a year now. I think straight HODL is not the way to go. I think there's a fine line between HODLing and selling. I don't know what that is, whether it's 50%, 60%, whatever that might be. I don't know what the exact or the perfect number would be. But I think selling a portion and then HODLing a portion is also, I think, the best way to go. And there's, obviously, they ran the numbers on it. Others have run the numbers on it. I've run the numbers on it as well. And I think that is the way to go. So could they be actually selling a little bit now, going into 2023? So let's take a look at some of the data that we do have. I'm not sure if they are selling or not, but this is what we do have. So we'll go with that. Okay, let's take a look at the screenshot here. So this is Marapool. This is their, I believe these are the two addresses that they use for mining through Marapool. And you can see their data coming in here and when they are actually getting rewards for it. So last reward was about 18 hours ago. They got 6.29. And then if we look at the addresses here, we go to the first one here. We can see here that on, let's see here, this was today, the 8th. Let me see if I can maybe zoom this in for you guys, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So this is from today. And you can see here that they received a total of 2.25 thousand BTC over time. And they just recently started, looks like, sending some out or selling potentially. I don't know if they were sold, if they were given out. I don't know, but we do see that 42 were sent out. And if you look at the addresses here, we can see how much they're sending out. Let's just take a look at a couple of these, and it looks like it might be from people that are actually trading it on exchanges. So let's just open those up here really quick to see where those are going to. That one, and we'll open up a couple more over here. And let's do 2 more. We'll call that a day on this. Okay. So we can see that they sent some to this address, which only has 0.06 BTC. So it does look like somebody that would be trading potentially, trying to build up their own BTC amounts that they HODL. This one has a little bit more, 3.79. This address has 2.8, 3.7. So these are not addresses where there's a lot of Bitcoins being stored on them. 0.415. This one is 0.43. This one has a little bit more, 11 right now. And the last one here has 1.4. So these are not large HODL addresses where they would just send Bitcoin to HODL them. It looks like these were sent out, at least I'm saying it looks, I don't know for sure, that they were sent out to possibly be sold. I mean, if that's the case, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, you heard what the IR guy said for Marathon, and I agree with him that going forward, if they do sell 50%, 60%, or 40%, if they sell 40%, 50% of their Bitcoin production, use that to fund operations for growth, I think that's a great thing. I mean, that's why they are there. They are there to mine Bitcoin. They are not there to be a reserve currency or hold on to that for God knows how long, right? So I'm all for it. I think that's a good thing. I think some of you, well, there's going to be quite a few of you maybe that are not going to like this. I get this every time I talk about the HODL position for not only for Marathon, but for HOT 8. I get a lot of flack from you guys, not all of you, but some of you, that, you know, that they're doing the right thing by HODLing it. I disagree, and that's where we are, which is okay. And there's 2 different viewpoints on this. That, you know, you have the HODL, the 100% HODL camp, and you got the one that believes that they should at least sell some of it to fund operations, fund growth, dilute less shares, things like that. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for companies that are, you know, doing the right things by investors. You know, what are these companies going to do with the next bull run? Are they going to start selling the Bitcoin then? Are they going to HODL? What are they going to continue to do? Are they continue to just dilute shares? I mean, that's not great for shareholders either. So I'm okay with this. I'm actually in favor of them starting to sell a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers, some of the numbers that I have. Just ran really quickly here for the last year, if this worked out this way. Let me see, where do we have it here? We got it here. Okay, so here's Marathon's numbers for the last year. And this is just taking their BTC production, and I basically just did a 50% like they, Fred Thiel stated that, you know, that's kind of like the optimal thing to do would be to sell half of your Bitcoins mined. So here is, in this row, we have the Bitcoins, the half of the Bitcoins that were mined. So 462, half of that is 231. So we did that for all the months in 2022. Then we have the value of Bitcoin at that time, roughly. This is just an average of where it was. And then what they could have actually received in revenue from selling that Bitcoin for those 12 months. So all in all, they could have received about 58.5 million in revenue for that, and they would have sold about 2,000 Bitcoin during that period. So if they sold 2,000, they would still have about 10,000 Bitcoin right now, which is still a really good HODL position. But that 58 million that they had could have went and gone to pay down maybe some debt, could have went down to pay for operations. Let's take a look at their operations really quick. I just took a quick peek at it. Operating expenses, so cost of revenues, if you just take the last 3 quarters that we do have, Q1, Q2, and Q3, that came in at $56 million right there that they spent on it. That could have been used towards that. It could have also been used for general administrative purposes. That came out to be, what did that come out to be? I think pretty close to that as well. Let me see here, that one and that one. Then we get to 38 million, so they could have used that for her paying their administrative fees, things like that, where they didn't have to dilute as much of the shareholders as they did in the past. And I think it would have been a much better way of doing it. But hindsight is always 20/20, right? Bitcoin starts going back up. They start selling it. They're going to be making a little bit more on it as well. And I'm perfectly fine with them continuing to HODL a portion of it. But let me know what you guys think of it. So those are the numbers right there of what they could have done just in this year alone. Last year, had they also sold a portion of it, I would have to run back through my boy, my old spreadsheets on that one to see what they could have possibly generated in revenue if they sold last year as well, or in 2021 when Bitcoin was going up to 69,000 twice. They could have definitely done a lot better than they did here since we were in a bear market. But it is just kind of nice to take a look at it. And then let me know what you guys think. Is selling a portion a good thing, or do you disagree? Do you think you got to just hodl that sucker until it reaches $1 million, if that's the case, to do it? But the other thing that we've also seen is the companies, and if you watch that full interview there, I can't remember the guy that was doing the interview, but he did state that companies that haven't hodled 100% in the past year have done better as far as growth is concerned than those that have hodled and diluted less. So is there something to it? Possibly. I'm not sure, but I think there might be. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Okay, and that is it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see what the CPI data comes out this week. We'll see if we get any more minor updates as well. See what's going on there. We'll see what's going on with Bitcoin. We'll see where Bitcoin's at tomorrow, if it's going to continue going up higher or not. It would be nice to get a nice green month, I guess you could say, for Bitcoin in January. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.